Whoa. Whoa. It's the illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. Al's sorting his beads out. What's going on, Paraplegic Bear? Someone call when it starts. Notifications. Don't. Yeah, it here. I'll text you right now, Bear. It's Paraplegic Bear, dude.
Paraplegic Bear.
Yeah, dude.
Bear. I said bear.
Live. All right. So we got Paraplegic Bear, Daryl Sawson, Marvin, Adam. We're here again. We made it another week. We missed last week, dude. Life was chaos, right? Biggie Cheese. And what's going on? Jane Black riding the wave. Marvin, Dazzer, dude. Good to see you from Ireland. Lion, Orangutan. We're in the house. We're here. All right. So Chrissy Boners, what's up? We are here for Sober Wednesday. This is the hour dedicated to those who suffer. And we all suffer, dude. And the ones who know they suffer are the lucky ones. Trust me. Those who don't know they suffer are whistling through the graveyard, so to speak. So we're here to offer a solution, a place to communicate, a way to just know that it's going to be okay. We offer a solution, and that's what we're doing. So I like to always open it up with the Serenity Prayer. This is not an AA meeting. This is a meeting for anybody and everyone who has some sort of addiction blocking them from a fruitful relationship with a God of their understanding. So if you've got something in your life that's blocking you from God and it's taken over your life, that's what this live stream's before. We're dedicated ultimately to those who are contemplating suicide or clinically depressed or out overeating, sex addiction, gambling, debt, whatever it is, whatever's jamming you up that makes you think your life is not worthwhile. Well, we're here, man. So with that said, let's open up with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things we can. It's a tall order sometimes, right? That sure is, knowing the difference, right? And like I said, this is not an AA meeting. I read chapter 5 of the big book, Alcoholics Anonymous, how it works. This little 2 pages can be applied to anybody who wants to change their life. It's pretty simple, dude. And I think this is a super pertinent piece of information for everyone who wants to just get out of their rut. Chapter 5, how it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program. Usually men and women who are unconstitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. They're such unfortunates. They're not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They're naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we're like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. At some of these, we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, but the result was nil until we let go. Absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Without help, it is too much for us, but there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. 1, We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that the power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. What's the rest of it? 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all of our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What in order? I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapters of the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C, that God could and would if he were sought. Amen. There you have it. Boom, boom, boom. So, I hope these sober Wednesdays don't stress you out. You've got 10 years of sobriety. I hope they're just positive conversation. 13 years, dude. Got 13 years of sobriety, dude. Leggy Maggie's sobriety was tested big time this week. Yeah, stayed strong. Yeah, dude, it's all real serious right now, man. It is so I've been pretty quiet the last couple of weeks. It's life. Just when you think it's really like, I think sobriety is like the Rubik's Cube, right? It's very hard to get all 6 sides together with matching colors, right? I can get a couple sides together, and then I try to get that 4th side together, and I scramble all of the sides. I don't know the code either to like right, left, right, left, 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 right, turn to get it done. So I'm left to my own self-will or God to solve the problem. And unfortunately, I have a tendency to revert back to self-will instead of going to God. How do you get over anger? Well, anger's real, dude. I think the first thing to accept with anger, we've had been in a pit of depression this last few days. Yeah, it's been tough, man. It's always tough. Anger's not fun. It's real. I think, I had some I got pretty angry the last week sometime, like real angry about some stuff. And I think one of the keys to doing it is to be thoroughly honest about it, right? And to admit that you are angry. It's not, there's nothing wrong with being angry. It's just what you do with it, right? And as alcoholics, we tend to lash out at other people, right? We tend to make it somebody else's problem. And sometimes that anger is based upon other people and their actions. And oh yeah, that's where the forgiveness thing clicks in. Yeah. Oh yeah, there, but for the grace of God go I. So we have to look in what is the anger really about. And I found that the anger is always pretty much comes from the same thing. It's fear. What's the fear from? The fear is from powerlessness. What are you powerless about? Everything. So you're angry about some specific things that showed up because you don't have any power to adjust it, right? Grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So we don't have the wisdom to know the difference. So we're trying to change something that can't be changed, and it makes us angry when we could forgive. What are we angry of? It's the fear. What are we afraid of? That we're basically going to die under a freeway overpass without the love of, and grace of God, right? I mean, if you really trace all the fear that what fear is, it's dying without God is really what it comes down to. And right, like, yeah, the modern monkey right there, fear is a lie, because God's not going to abandon you unless, of course, you've decided to abandon God, which is a tricky thing. So I think fear is quickly alleviated once you remember that God loves you and you made a decision to turn your will and your life over to the care of God as you understand him, right? And you came to believe that a power greater than yourselves could restore us to sanity. So it's this thing where we're insane by our very nature. It's what is what did one of those people say, Bukowski or one of those guys, it's or Ram Dass or whatever it is to be sane and in an insane society is insanity. There's nothing sane going on here, dude, at all. So trying to be sane will make you insane. So the quickest way to sanity is admitting the insanity and using your tools to get around it, right? And again, I know now, 13 years deep into this thing, that anger doesn't have a hold on me like it used to. So what do I mean by anger doesn't have a hold on me is because I dealt with my shadows, because in step 4 and 5, right, had a fearless and searching moral inventory of myself and told another human being and God the exact nature of my wrongs. I don't have a bunch of shadows in my closet. I'm not angry trying to hide from myself anymore. If I get angry, it's right there in front of me what I'm angry about. Sometimes it's justified and sometimes it's not. But again, is the reaction of anger when I get down on the spiritual level is never justified, because that anger is based upon fear, resentment. And I can say the thing that I got super angry about last week was full resentments, like big resentments about some stuff. And I blew my gasket. And resentments are a shadow, right? A resentment is something in your fearless searching moral inventory that you didn't deal with. And because I'm far enough down the food chain of the sobriety thing, I know this. The minute it shows up, the minute anger shows up in my life, I can sit there and go, what is it that I'm really angry about? And it's never what it is on the surface. It's not the bills. It's not the IRS. It's not the car wrecks. It's not the dude who snaked me surfing. It's not my children. It's not my wife. It's my perception of whatever it is that I'm disguising, because I'm not being honest with myself. Because when I get down to it, it's always the same thing. It's a shadow that I've allowed to hide inside of myself. So when I truly understand that I'm angry and I calm down enough to go, what is it I'm angry about? Well, I got a resentment. I have a secret. I have lied about something. I've done this. I've done that. Because all the stuff that I used to be in fear of, right? I read it in the promises, financial issues, all sorts of others. Brendo, thank you. I appreciate the support. All that kind of stuff, I'm not afraid of anymore, because they're not shadows anymore. I'm not afraid of institutions and people with funny uniforms on or any of that stuff, because I took care of all those shadows, dude. I took care of all my resentments against the system, the resentment against this and that. And so when I sit here, what I'm really getting angry about is something I haven't dealt with, man. And so that's how you get over angry, is to stop looking at what you're angry at and ask yourself, why are you angry? And then when you ask the big question, you'll be like, oh, I have something in the back that's hidden in the shadows that I haven't dealt with. And because I haven't dealt with, I'm not being thoroughly honest with myself. God already knows this. So I'm running scared on God, and I'm going to die without God's love. And that's where it is. So again, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, right? Halt. Easier said than done. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Right, Owl? So that's my spiel on the anger. What did I just do with my glasses?
Dad, just read the 10 Commandments for him.
You want to read go get your 10, you want to read the 10 Commandments? Sure.
Yeah, I won't get my Bible.
He wants to read the 10 Commandments for you. God made us warriors. Our struggles are the battle for the fight of truth. God doesn't expect us not to have demons, but the bigger the demons we conquer, the greater we shine for God. Yeah, that's the truth right there, Modern Monkey. That is, like, God's not going to give you more than you can handle. Like, that's the thing. That's what it's all about.
What's on Bible?
All right. And you want to read the 10 Commandments? It's a special interlude by Owl. And do you know where it is? Where is it? You know right where it is, don't you? He likes to, when he gets jammed up, this is his go-to. There it is. Oh, wow. Flipped right to it. Okay, go ahead. Read it.
The 10 Commandments. Number 1, you shall have no other gods but me.
Okay, you just read it. You're doing great.
Number 2, you shall not worship anything you make with your hands that looks like a creation of mine. Number 3, you shall not use the name of the Lord to swear or curse. That's a daddy that has to work on that.
Swear and curse, yeah.
Number 4, you shall keep the Sabbath day holy. That's Sunday. Number 5, honor your father and your mother.
That's what you need to work on.
Yeah. Number 6, you shall not commit murder. Number 7, you shall not commit adultery. Number 8, you shall not steal. Number 9, you shall not lie. Number 10, do not covet, but be content with what you have. That's in Moses.
That's nice work, dude.
It's in Moses.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And there you have it, dude. There you have it, dude. There you have it. So yeah, it's
things to do.
It can all fall apart, man, and that's okay. You have to look. You like one of the things I've known from the everyone's giving you high fives on that bird. You got an amazing, good job, righteous, awesome reading, Al. We're so proud of you. Yeah, he's becoming quite the little reader.
Well, I only know the 10 Commandments, so
yeah,
they're so easy for me.
Okay.
I've been reading them a lot.
Yeah, you do read them a lot, but it's the process, right? If we were perfect, we wouldn't be able to get so far. It's that thing of like our imperfections is what makes us perfect, because what are our imperfections? Yeah, like those are the imperfections: anger, sloth, all the things we do are our truths. And that's why we're not supposed to run from them. That's why it is a program of thorough honesty. It's okay to be angry. It's what you do with it afterwards. Do you use it as a tool to better yourself as a human being, or do you just file it away in your shadows and allow that guilt and shame of to build up over time. And the only solution is to either get real with God and other human beings, or to eventually use your addiction to cover it up even more. And we all know that doesn't work. That's why we're here, right? So I don't fear, I don't like it. I don't like being angry. I don't like that vibe at all, but I don't fear it either anymore. Right? Like, I like to go back to the modern monkey back there, fear is a lie, right? I don't fear my failings like I used to, because I have the ability to use my failings to look deeper inside of myself and be like, okay, that problem needs to be solved, that needs to be healed. And so
Yeah, you know, I'm sorting these so I can make necklaces to send.
That's a good idea, dude. People
so
know.
You can get money.
All right. Do you want to, so you can get some Lego funds on? Yeah, questions are allowed.
I'm gonna sell them.
Squirtle Jim, dude. But yeah, no, let's open it up. Let's do some questions. I have no agenda tonight. So I did my opening babble. Let's open it up to some questions, man. Let's do that. And the best things my parents ever did for us was to read Proverbs over and over every month. Chapter one chapter a day, 31 chapters, endless. That's a good idea, truth lover. I like that. Child of God, I'm an addict. I've never been drawn to alcohol, though. Maybe my brain just allows to stay away from it. Yeah, well, it's alcohol. I think alcohol is not. I'm lucky enough that alcohol was my addiction. I have all sorts of addictions and things that will wreak havoc upon my life. Look, Tuesday the surf came up and I blew off everybody and everything. And fortunately, it wasn't that great, so it didn't cost me any consequences. But I was right there. Like, everything falls off when the surf comes up. And how do you handle negative thoughts and stress? Negative thoughts and stress, again, right? So Squirtle Jim, negative thoughts and stress. The stress thing, right? The stress is fear of the future, dwelling on the past, right? And the one way not to be stressed is to make peace with your story and ultimately make peace for yourself. You can't do anything about the future. All you can do is step into it boldly, bravely, lovingly, and being of service. Like, what you can do is prepare the best for your tomorrow today, right? So one of the things that we stress about is because we're afraid of our past, because we haven't dealt with our past. We're looking back at our past and it's like, oh my God, this is what I do. I blow it. I do this. I do that. Well, that's why you take care of your past. We don't shut the door on it, but we don't dwell on it either, man. We're not afraid of it. And that'll eliminate the stress. And one of the things that you can do to eliminate stress is just to stay right here, right now. Don't future trip. Don't dwell on the past. Just look at where you are standing at that very moment and know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be at that moment of time and space. And the quicker that you accept the truth of where you're standing, the quicker you'll be to where your next spot's supposed to be. And if your intent in that spot is positivity and being of service, you've greatly increased your odds of being at a better place the next moment in time and space. But if your initial thoughts are based upon all your fear and anxiety of the past, odds are you're moving yourself in the wrong direction. So I think it's a numbers game too. Is the more you're in acceptance and trying to maximize the beauty and potential of who you are, the more you move in that direction, dude. And how do you handle negative thoughts? I think the same way. I think thoughts are like cars on the interstate, right? Just let them go by. Just let them drive by. Zoom, 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 zoom. Just don't try to get in them. Just God, there's a negative thought, and ask God to remove that thought. just ask God, go, God, please remove that thought. I do it all the time. Like all of a sudden, you know, especially with children, you'll have like some dark fear show up, and I'll just be like, God, please remove that thought. And God does, because my goal is not to get into the car that is that thought. Just ask God to remove that thought. And that action of asking God to remove that thought is you not getting into that thought. So you're just observe the thoughts, be the observer of your thoughts. Your thoughts are not who you are. Your thoughts are just stories that you're telling yourself. Stay strong and withdraw, Charlie. Yeah, hang in there, Charlie. You've been there before, dude. Just stay the course, dude. But something's been, I nearly died from benzos are brutal, dude. Benzos are brutal. I know for a thing, you got to do a slow withdrawal on that, dude. You got to wean off them, dude. Yeah, be super careful, man. Sound advice, dude. You're welcome, John. Okay. Yeah, benzos will kill you, dude. But you can get off of them. You just got to be able to. You need some help, though, man.
Done.
All right. Nice work, Bird.
I didn't finish up the whole thing.
All right. Well.
That's fine. Right? I got a whole other bucket to do tomorrow.
Oh, dude. Your work's cut out for you, man. All right. And thoughts don't have to be scary once you shine the light on them. Whoa, that one's cool.
It's a heart.
Thoughts don't have to be scary because that's it. They're just thoughts. They're just thoughts, man. They're like feelings. They're not real. None of this is real. I think that's part of the hard part to grasp, is this really can be anything you want it to be. So if you want it to be a nightmare, it sure can be, dude. If you want it to be an angry horror show, it can be. You want it to be a loving moment, it sure can be too. It really.
Whoa, look at this bag. What's this bag?
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot what we got in it. Just a series of chemical reactions and electricity pulsing around in your thing. Yeah, I didn't know at the time about benzo fit, but thankfully I pulled through. Yeah, benzos are brutal, man. Do you have any advice you wish you heard when you were younger? Also glad to see you're well. Sub forever, go on a bowl cut video, but kept coming back because your outlook on life, amazing to me. Thank you, Helena B. Do you have any advice you wish you'd heard when you were younger? It's funny when I think about that, because being young now has got to be an entirely different story, right? So as a person who was young in the 80s and the early 90s, the advice I would have given myself then, I don't know if that is relevant to the advice I would give myself now if I was a young person now. I mean, what I would have told myself then now is I would have tried again. I don't know if it would have had any relevance to me at the time, but I think I would have tried to explain that everything you're trying to experience with drugs and alcohol is not inside of drugs and alcohol. They're actually deeper within inside of yourself. And the drugs and alcohol only show you that you don't have to be afraid of it, but ultimately that's why you're afraid of it. You know what I mean? I think I would try to point to myself to go, it's fake. I think when I was young, if I look back on one of the big disservices I grew up with was I was part of the just say no generation. Dare. Remember Dare and Just Say No and all those things. I don't try to, like, what I try to do is explain it this way. And they did my generation a disservice, because it was Just Say No, it was Dare, it was bad, don't do it, gateway drugs, if one thing's going to lead to the next. And so when you find out that the weed you're smoking is not the same as the heroin or whatever, and then so they lied to you about the weed, And then you went to this and you're like, it was just all lies. Instead of going, there's a truth to it, dude. I as a sober alcoholic, I have no issue with drugs and alcohol as far as them being available for human usage and experimentation on this planet. I don't have a resentment with you. I don't have an issue. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to. What I'm going to tell you is that most of the reasons that people use drugs alcoholically is because they're trying to cover up their pain of living in this insane reality we experience down here, and B, they're trying to use them to find the answer to this insane reality we live down here. And both of those premises are truthfully false. like, yes, the drugs and the alcohol helped me get closer to God on a certain level. It broke me from the narrative. They also were the ultimate prison for me for decades, because the initial experience I had, I can think about it. I remember what it did for me. I remember what those first alcohol experiences were like and what it was like. Yeah, it broke me free. It shattered the illusion of this whole thing. I remember my first psychedelic trips and all that stuff. But on this side of it is you're flirting with danger. You are messing with the spirits. And those spirits want to hold you prisoner, because the spirits contained in there, to the uninitiated mind, want to hold you captive. The one that doesn't want to hold you captive, God, the Godhead, the loving, infinite, abundant God, doesn't need that stuff. So it's not trying to even do it. That is the journey of free will, right? I think that's the way I would try to explain it to someone younger, is to explain free will, and to explain that, like, yeah, you might have to go on the prodigal son's journey. You might have to go experience what life in hell looks like to experience what glory is like. And be careful.
I gotta wait for another one of those buckets.
Okay.
You gotta give me one, because now these ones that can go into the buckets are in bags. And whenever we get a bucket, then we can take them out of bags.
So I get to the thing where I think one of the most dangerous things they did to us in my generation was tell us no, when they should have explained exactly what was going to happen, and said, look, this is what will happen. This is what these drugs will do to you. And be careful, because when you get there, you might like it a little too much. And if you stay there a little too long, it will have a really damaging effect upon you, dude. And so I'm more of a truth guy. That's why I don't appreciate the DMT hustlers. You know the ones I'm speaking of. And we're not going. It's not about here. I don't appreciate. I think they do a great disservice, because they're doing the exact opposite of the just say no generation. They're the just say yes people. And I go, that's even crazier, dude, because that is just as dangerous as saying just say no. It's how about have really thoughtful conversations with people about these things, just as you would about vitamin C or organic apples, or, you know, why it's important to do exercise versus sitting in front of a television. I think that, how do you know you're doing the right thing, dude? You know, look, Manly Mangold, you absolutely know what the right thing is. That is intuitively part of the human experience. And if you don't, it's because you don't want to know what the right thing is, dude. So there's my thing. Very true. Didn't factor in the difference of then and now, but thank you. I needed to hear that I've been using to cope with difficulties. I've been sober for a week, but it's been eye-opening. Look, again, is I don't think that, like, back to you, Helena B, is on the youthful thing, is being young, going into adulthood with all the potential that a human being has without God.
Legos.
Al, we're doing our thing. You promised you weren't going to be interrupted, right? Okay. So I think, I don't know if that is, thank you for kind of helping me on this one. I think on that level, I would try to between the youth going into adulthood is try to explain the importance of having spirituality in your life, a relationship with God, of your understanding of somehow to move you forward. Because if you're at the crossroads of a young person looking, I don't see anything but anxiety and fear and like, oh my God, how am I going to pull it off? Dude, the economy's falling apart. There's masks on everybody's face. Blah. But God's never shifted. God's eternal, everlasting in that sense. So I would okay, that's I'm glad you kind of helped me refine this. I would, if I was to give advice to any young person right now, I would explain to them the importance of discovering a personal relationship with a God of their understanding, and to refine that and define that, not in a monoculture way, but in an expansive, exploratory way. Go seek God in everything you do, and know that God is based upon being of service to your fellow human beings. If you're young and you're wondering what to do with your life, just make your primary objective to be of service to your fellow human beings, and find God in that act alone, dude. And I think that would alleviate most of the reasons why you would take drugs and alcohol, because the reason most of us took drugs and alcohol is because we didn't have a purpose. We're like, what am I supposed to do here? Nobody's telling me what I'm supposed to do here. College and jobs and this, they're hollow. What am I supposed to do here? Nobody, when I was young, came up to me and started going, hey, look, dude, you know what you want to do in this life is everything you do is, if you make it being of service to your fellow human beings in the name of a relationship with God, you'll win at everything you do. I'll stop, dude. You promised me if you were going to hang out in here, you weren't going to be distracting me. Okay. Okay, you can play, but don't be sticking things in my face, dog. So I really do think that part of the reason that we do drugs and alcohol is because we're spiritually bored. And we don't know that the reason that we're spiritually bored is because we've been convinced not to look to God for the answer, because God's been told to us as some sort of scary demonic nightmare, when God is a loving, benevolent, endless reality. You know what I mean? I think growing up with religion shoved down your throat, with institutions thrown. Now I'm kind of on a rant, dude. But yeah, if you're young at the precipice of adulthood, and you're looking here and they've been shoving these institutions of religion and things in your thing, you're sitting there like, what is this all about, dude? I see the redwood tree, I see the flower, I see the bumblebee. What does this have to do with that? Because God is the bumblebee landing on the flower that makes the honey that you put in your tea, dude. Right? So a human being knows this. A human being intuitively knows what it is that a baby is all about. That no institution put forth by man can explain what a baby is, dude. Sorry, you can't. Only God can explain what a baby really is, dude. And that is because God, you are the baby in the whole thing. So you sit there at the precipice of going from being a youth into adulthood, and you're like, I see the bumblebee, and I see these institutions, and let me just smoke this joint and try to figure it out. Let me have some booze and try to figure out. And you're like, oh, okay, dude. This makes dealing with these two conflicting realities like way easier. And then you finally get sober and you realize, dude, that God is all of it, dude. And it's only due to your free will that you've thought that the institutions were of just corruption were way more powerful than the bumblebee of love, dude. But in the bumblebee of love, there's this just gnarly thing of chaos and the whole thing. So So you're sitting there as a young person, dude. No one's told you that the truth about nature, that the truth about nature is this vicious trees eating trees so they can get to the sunlight, and wolves chowing down on elk so the streams flow better, and they graze in different things. No, they've sterilized nature into some sort of weird postcard. And then over here, the evil institutions and this and that, they've sterilized that into some sort of postcard too, of like, oh my God, it's just a bunch of suit and ties and margaritas on the veranda down in Cozumel on your 2-week vacation. And you're sitting there and you're like, none of this makes any sense, man. None of this makes any sense, because they forgot to give you the key component that you're a perfect reflection of God's love, grace, and dignity. So you're like, dude, I want to be the truth. So you suck a bunch of booze, you pop a bunch of pills, you take a bunch of acid, you snort a bunch and shoot a bunch and do a bunch of stuff, because that act alone gets you closer to God than any of these postcards they plastered in front of your face with no explanation and just said, fend for yourself, little human being, fend for yourself. And your parents are scratching their heads too, just going, I don't know what to do. Just don't turn into a drug addict, right? And meanwhile, the more they don't want to explain the truth of the postcards, the more and more you're aiming to be a drug addict, because inside of there, as twisted and messed up it is, that's where God lies. The journey to hell. The journey to hell is where God lies. And that's what I would tell you. Do you want to go to hell to figure out that God loves you, that will save you from hell, dude? Maybe instead of sucking down the booze, figure out what that bumblebee is about, dude. Go study that bumblebee, man. Figure out the life cycle of that bumblebee and that redwood tree, and understand that the same thing that redwood tree and that bumblebee tree are this crazy insanity institutions and madness and buildings and skyscrapers and freeway interchanges. It came from the same place, that it's God, and it's your choice as a human being to decide. Do you want to live in this crazy insanity, or do you want to be in harmony, just like the bumblebee's in harmony with its crazy insanity? Just go talk to a bumblebee, and the bumblebee's like, dude, this is crazy down here too, dude. I sit out here, watch the bumblebees, dude. I'm like, imagine that, just trying to find the flower with the pollen in it and the whole thing, and just And so, dude, you think a bumblebee doesn't need a drink? You think my cat doesn't need a giant joint just to be like, oh my God, dude, I just killed another mouse. What was that all about, dude? I really just want to go lay on the couch, dude. I don't have any thumbs. I can't open the stupid door. That I need that big, giant, tall human to open the door for me, because I don't have any thumbs, dude. I've got to go kill another mouse just because it makes sense of what I do. I'm a catter. I'm a mousing cat, dude. You think all these animals, if they had the choice, wouldn't just take a big joint break? Yeah, because it's gnarly, dude. But we as human beings have free will to choose God, right? That's what this whole thing's. May you find God now. There's one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. That's what I would tell an 18-year-old on the precipice of adulthood. There is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. How do you find God? Right now. You be of service to your fellow human beings. You help another alcoholic achieve sobriety, dude. I know, man. But if you haven't become an alcoholic or a drug addict, you can take everything you are as a young person and guide yourself by being of service. Use the name tags at the cashier. Figure out how to make the bumblebee grow so that you can have honey for the elderly, or whatever it is, whatever mission it is that you think that you have as a young person. As long as you're being of service to your fellow human beings, you're doing God's work, man. And in there, you will find God, dude. And when you find God, you wouldn't need a drink. That's the thing. The drink is just a response to a purposeless, confused, abused life, man. And that's what the society's all about, dude. I'm telling you, man. I'm guaranteed some of those other societies out there that Spaceship Earth had throughout its history didn't need a drink, dude. They had purpose, they had meaning, they had an objective to take care of their community, to build, I don't know, a better mousetrap so their cat could do whatever it's got to do, dude. So, yeah. That's what I would tell. That's what I got for you for Helena B, dude, is yeah, yeah, man. I can't imagine. I have been that young person, dude. Just I don't know what to do, dude. Noah, thank you. Noah, thank you. And what if someone offers me service, but I would rather serve myself? Then you're selfish, man. One of the true understandings of it all is to accept the gift. To accept the gift, man. The most selfish thing you can do is not let someone give you a gift. Like whatever that, just take the gift. I had to learn to trust me. Do you think so I started this YouTube journey on being offered service as a gift from God. One of the things I had to learn, my spiritual advisor was super gnarly about with me. He was like, learn to accept the gift. Learn to accept the compliment. You know how you do it? You say thank you. I remember like when I was early sobriety was when people would be like, they would give me a compliment and I'd be like, no worries. I'd say no worries, dude. My sponsor would be like, my spiritual advisor, Joe, would be like, what does that mean? No worries. I'm like, well, it's like, you don't need to worry about it. They're like, you're denying them the ability to say something nice to you. Why are you doing that? Well, it's because you're selfish. What do you mean you're selfish? Because you're so afraid to live in the beauty of God that you won't let someone else compliment the work you've done or the act you've done. No worries, dude. Don't worry about it. Like, it's cool. No, when someone's nice to you, when someone does something nice for you, when someone's of service to you, you just say thank you. Thank you. That's it. That's all it takes. And so anything else is selfish. I really need to do that. I did not say thank you. I definitely said no worries as well. Thank you, Hamish. It's my lack of trust that put me here, for the fear, for sure. Exactly, Scott. Like, no, it's a learned thing, because part of the alcoholism, if you will, or the spiritual malady, is that we don't think that we deserve the grace and the dignity because we're not giving it away, right? In order to receive the grace and dignity, I have to give it away. I have to be the one that's kind to the cashier. I have to be the one that does the kind act, not because I need someone to say thank you to me, but because, dude, I need to say thank you to the person who does it. It's this symbiotic relationship of you got to give it away to keep it, right? And the reason that we don't want to accept a thank you or service or someone doing a kindness for us is because we're super selfish and we're not doing it for anybody else, right? So you're embarrassed. Like, you're like, oh, like, I wouldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't give that person a ride. Because like that's one of the things you got to learn early on in sobriety. That's why you need to be part of the fellowship and have a group of people so that you can accept the ride. I had to learn that the hard way. I was so prideful and like, nah, I don't need a ride. I'll walk. I used to go to meetings. I'll tell a final story, dude, and we'll get to it. When I was first getting sober, I was living way up a hill in Malibu with David and Joe. And I used to go to this meeting at 26 and Broadway in Santa Monica, right? And I would go to this meeting and I had the book commitment, right? I was the literature guy. So I had this backpack full of books, dude. And because I was super newly sober and super prideful, I wouldn't accept a ride from anyone. I don't need a ride. Nah, it's cool. I got it, dude. Because I didn't want to take anything. Because I was on that, like, don't neither borrow nor lender be. Just don't, if I don't accept the favor, I don't have to give one back, right? So I used to leave to go to this book meeting was at 7:30, I think, in Santa Monica. So I used to leave Malibu like an hour and a half early to take the bus. I would take the bus, I would take it to Santa Monica, and then I would skate from Santa Monica like up 26 blocks, 24 blocks. So the bus drops you off on, I think, 4th Street. So 22 blocks, I would skate with this backpack full of like AA books, dude, that weighed like, 30 pounds. I would skate to the meeting. I would set up my books. I would do the meeting. And people would like offer me rides. And I'd be like, nah, it's cool. Nah, I don't need, and then I would go down to the California incline there and I would hitchhike home, dude. Instead of just taking the stupid rides, I would hitchhike home and then walk up the hill. And it was all because I was like, I'm not going to accept the ride. Why? Because I wasn't going to give a ride either at that time, right? Like I wasn't going to give anyone a ride either. I didn't have a car, the whole thing. And so that's the whole thing is why I talk about it like on this a lot. And to end the thing, the most selfish thing you can do is not ask somebody for help, because people want to give you help. If you're a person who is suffering, allow someone to help you, because that gives that person meaning. Like, so I got a call like today, someone on the chat, right? Who got a hold of me, needs some help. They called me up like, hey man, this is what's going on. I got some time, a little bit of time sober. I'm working. I ran into a bunch of trouble out there in the thing. What do you think? What should I do? Dude, getting sober has helped me in every single way. Thank you, brother. I appreciate your work. Yeah, I know Kim. If we're talking the same Kim, I do. No, I don't think it's a cult, dude. I think that's a cop out. That's the ego and pride talking. It can be a cult if you want it to be. I know plenty of people that treat AA like a cult. I don't. It's not a cult to me. And oh, okay. Is that your real name? Like on the thing, Paul? Then you know the score. We know the same people then. Yeah, it's no, I don't think it's a cult, man. I think it's a solution, but many people have turned it into a cult. It's a fellowship if you want it to be. It to me, it's just 164 pages in a book that I come and I try to be of service to, you know. It's paraplegic bear. It's the uncool kids club. That's the point. It's all the uncool kids, dude. And what if someone treats you? That's different, man. Again is what you'll find out. Part of sobriety is you don't allow people to treat you poorly because you have self-worth. So that nullifies itself. That count, like someone who's treating you shitty would not be in your life, dude. Because you wouldn't put up with it anymore. You just would vibrate them out of your existence. So I don't have to worry about anybody giving me a gift after them treating me suspect, because they wouldn't be in my energy field. Like that's the thing, is like that's the gift of sobriety, is your energy field changes, and you now have a different cast of characters in your reality, because like a train, like, you know, it attracts itself to you. So I think that's that weird thing when you do the work and you make the fearless and searching moral inventory of yourself, you eliminate a lot of the things that would put people that would treat you negatively in your life. Because again, that's not the person that treats you negatively. It's you accepting the negative treatment. It's never outside. It's always you. It's always you, because you haven't gone to God. Because if you went to God, God would be like, dude, why are you putting up with that, dude? Why don't you think you're worthy of being treated better? And again, is when we come into this sobriety thing out of addiction, we think we deserve to be treated like garbage. And so we allow ourselves to be treated like garbage. We treat ourselves like garbage. So how do we expect anyone else to treat us any better? The first thing you have to do is find self-worth. Well, how do you find self-worth? You have a relationship with God and you get rid of your garbage, dude, and you give your garbage back to God. And then you begin to realize that you're created in his image and you're a perfect creation of God, and that there's nothing imperfect about you, and that because of that, your obligation to God is to love yourself, at least to show God that you accept his love, dude, right? If you don't love yourself, nobody else will love you, dude. You'll just keep putting people in there to jerk you around till you figure out that you have to have your own self-worth to be able to do this thing, man. Yeah, we're our own worst enemies here, man. It's never anybody else, dude. And why would you accept a shitty gift from someone that treats you badly so you can hold it over their head? Ransomware, dude. Again, is the human mind is very complicated and has a lot of built-in circuit breakers and chaos makers, dude. Yeah, we're all perfect in God's eyes. God created us to be here for this now, so be here for this now. And what you'll find out is one of the best ways to be here for this now is to solve the riddles of who you are, dude, to make peace with your shadows, dude. So as we come to the end, can someone put up the suicide prevention number so that we can read that, so that that's out there, because plenty of people are suicidal, experiencing hard times. And what I would tell to anybody who's got suicidal thoughts, who thinks their life isn't worthwhile, you're sadly mistaken. We need you. You're part of this beautiful experience, and whatever's afflicting your mind and your feelings and your emotions right now to convince you that your life is not worth living is temporary. There's God's waiting for you. We're waiting for you. People are waiting for you. And so if you're suicidal, please call 1-800-273-8255, 1-800-273-8255. Thank you, Jane. The suicide prevention hotline, 1-800-273-8255. It's 24 hours a day. Please call it. If you're anywhere in the United States of America, you can type in your city AA central office. And here, let's do this. I'm going to just do an example. I'm going to type in, let's see. Let's do Billings, Montana AA central office, and see what we get. Billings, Montana. There are 40, and there it is, dude. Billings, Montana. Here it is. I got a list of meetings. There's where's the number? There's a number on here, guaranteed. There's yeah, dude. There's a bunch of meetings.
You can do them all on Zoom.
There's a lot of Zoom meetings too. And usually there's a number. There's a whole, the hotline. If you're in Billings, Montana, 833-800-8553, dude. That's how easy it is. If you want help, it's that easy, dude. Type in your city, AA Central Office, and you'll get a bunch of numbers, dude. There'll be another person at the other end of the phone who knows exactly what it's like to be on the other end of the phone. We all started there, dude. We all had to ask someone for help. I had to ask Joe and Dave in front of a liquor store once upon a time, drunk out of my mind, for help. And here we go. There's the proof it works. There's the proof it works. Right, Al? Right? Aren't you stoked I got sober?
Yeah, because if Daddy didn't get sober, then he'd die. I don't want Daddy to die.
Yeah. And so with that said, let's go out, lead out on the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom
remember, say amen.
And the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. All right. Good night. Be kind to each other. Ask for help, dude. All right.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.